by knowing what he requires, knowing what he wants of you. That's knowing the Lord, right? So this covenant is in the new covenant is he's going to put the law in our inward parts and inscribe it in our hearts, in our mind, right? And we're going to understand his law, understand his commandments, and we're not going to teach. In the old covenant, it had to be taught, had to be passed down, and not everybody knew the Lord. In the new covenant, everybody's going to know the Lord, so there's not going to be any teaching. That's the only difference. The laws are the same, the commandments are the same. It's just we won't be taught, but we're still being taught.
I mean, in Luke 22-20, it says the cup is the new covenant in my blood, which is poured out for you.
Right? Does that align with this?
Let me look back at Jeremiah 31. So I look back at my covenant, the new covenant is instead of this, the covenant I'll make the house of Israel those days.
I mean, no matter how you put it, bro, that's what I'm saying. Like, the New Testament doesn't validate this. The Old Testament should be validating whatever it's saying that the New Covenant is in the New Testament. And it's funny that right before it speaks about the New Covenant, it says that everybody's going to die for their own iniquity. Everybody's going to die for their own sins. Why would Jeremiah write what God is saying and say, everybody's going to die for their own sins, right? And then go into a covenant that's talking about somebody dying for our sins, according to the New Testament doctrine. That makes no sense. Right before the new covenant, it speaks of everybody dying for their own iniquity. But the new covenant is
Okay, what
somebody
about
dying for
what
our
about
iniquity.
Micaiah 5-2? How about that?
Let's go to it. Before you go to Micah 5 and 2, go to Micah 1 and 1.
Micaiah or Michael?
You said Michael or Micah? You
Micah.
mean Micah? Yeah,
Micah.
Micah. Micah 1 and 1. Before you go to Micah 5, 2, go to Micah 1 and 1.
It says the word of the Lord that came to Micah, the Morshite, what he saw regarding Samaria and Jerusalem in the days of Jotham.
You kind of went out. What you say?
Uh, Micah 1 says the word of the Lord that came to Micah, the Morshite, yeah, okay. What he saw regarding Samaria and Jerusalem in the days of Jotham.
So what Micah is writing about is the word of the Lord that came to him during the time of those specific kings, right?
To Micah the Morshite, what he saw regarding Samaria and Jerusalem. So we have to go on. So Micah 1. And, and, okay, it says what he saw regarding in Samaria. What happened there? What did he saw?
Continue. I'm saying continue to read though.
Okay, and Jerusalem during Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, and kings of Judah, coming
Right.
judgment on Israel.
Right. So what he's writing about is concerning who it's concerning in what time period.
Uh,
During the time, it says during the time of who? Read it
where
out loud, brother. Read, read it out
you talking
loud.
about one? My version this is the word of the Lord that came to Micah, the more shot what he saw regarding Samaria and Jerusalem during the days of Jotham,
During the days of Jotham and who else?
Ahaz and Hezekiah and the kings of Judah.
Right. So what he saw and what he's writing about is during the time of Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, right?
Yeah.
Like it says, right?
Hmm.
So everything in Michael would be in reference to the time period of Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, based on what it's saying, right?
Hmm.
Do you agree or disagree?
It says Micah, the Lord, but I can't more so. And I'm trying to read the version. Probably. It says, but Micah 5:2 says, but Bethlehem, who
Hmm.
shall come for okay, this is that King James verse. I don't know why he's pulling up that thing.
I mean, King James is a bad translation, but it's way
Yeah,
better than that translation you probably got, that ESV. Or,
no, it's the CSB.
okay.
5:2. Judah will come through the ruler of Israel, this origin. Okay, yeah, I'll just use. It says, but you Bethlehem, you shall come from forth for me one who is the ruler of Israel.
Hold on, you're
It
reading it
says,
wrong. It didn't just say
but you
Bethlehem.
Bethlehem, I don't even know how to pronounce that.
Yeah, don't skip over it though, because that's important to understand.
I said Eber, I don't even know how to pronounce that. I said Eber,
Ephrata.
but from you shall come forth me who has a ruler in Israel.
You're skipping over a lot of stuff, bro.
Oh, okay, so I'm gonna
You're not reading what you're seeing.
I gotta go to the King James version then real quick.
No, no, you can read your version. What does it say? What does your version say?
It says Bethlehem, that word again. You are small among the clans of Judah. One will
Okay.
come for you from you to be a ruler over Israel for me. His origin and it's from antiquity, from ancient times.
Okay. So yeah, it's saying, but you Bethlehem Ephrata. Do you know what Ephrata is? Bethlehem
Nope,
Ephrata.
nope.
It's a clan. That's why in the very next, like in its attachment, right after that comma, it says, though you are little amongst the clans of Judah, because there are different clans within Judah, and Ephrata was one of them. You ever heard of an Ephratite?
No, I never heard that.
Yeah, so David was an Ephratite, right? Jesse, David's father, was an Ephratite. So it's saying, but you, Bethlehem Ephratah, though you are little amongst the clans of Judah, from you, right, that clan shall come forth for me one is to be ruler in Israel, whose origin are from old, from ancient days. So it's not saying that this person is going to be born in Bethlehem. It's saying that this person, he's going to come from that clan, right? And its origins are from old, from ancient days. Now um, that ancient word in Hebrew is not like forever times. It's just talking about a long time ago, not the literal sense of ancient. Just it's talking about a long time ago, right? Which came from David and David's father, right? They were from Ephrata. So his origins, not the ruler that it's talking about, is coming from old or ancient of days, but his origin is from ancient of days because his origins come from David, from Jesse, and Jesse's people, right? They were Ephratites.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, so when you read the next verse, you can read verse 3, 4.
Therefore, Israel will be abandoned until the time when she who is in labor, which is the virgin, has given birth. The rest of the rulers' brothers.
Let's not add that yet. Let's
Okay,
understand the
okay,
context first before we add that.
okay. Will return to the people of Israel. We will stand and shepherd them in the strength of the Lord, in the majestic name of the Lord his God. They will live securely for his greatness will extend to the ends of the earth. It will be their peace when Assyria invades our land, when it marches against our fortress. We will raise against the seven shepherds, even 8 leaders of men. You want me to keep going?
Uh-huh.
They will shepherd the land of Assyria, the land with the sword, the land of Nimrod with the dawn blaze, so he will rescue us from Assyria when it invades our land, when it marches against our territory. Keep going.
Okay. No, so you can start right there. So that same ruler that's coming from Bethlehem, Ephrata, he's going to be the peace when the Assyrians invade the land, and he's going to deliver them from the Assyrians, correct?
Yeah.
Right. So did Jesus ever deliver them from the Assyrians? Was he ever their peace when the Assyrians invaded the land?
Nope.
Okay, so if we go back to the context, right, and we think about the time period that he said he's writing in during the time of Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, did either one of those kings deliver Israel from the Assyrians? And was the peace when the Assyrians invaded the land?
I don't think so. Not from my memory.
Yes, Hezekiah.
No.
Hezekiah delivered them from the Assyrians. Hezekiah was one of the greatest kings to ever live. There was no king greater than Hezekiah. God even said that, right? And I can show you that real quick. Hold on. Go to 2 Kings 18. Hold on. Let me get specifically where it is in 2 Kings 18.
You said what? Kings or what?
I'm about to get them for you. I'm about to get these verses for you. Go to 2 Kings 18 and read verse 3 through 7.
You said Second Kings.
Chapter 18 and read verse 3 through 7.
3 to 7. It says he did what's right in the Lord's sight, just as his ancestor David had done. He removed the high places, scattered from the sacred pillars, and cut down the Asherah poles. He broke into pieces the bronze snake that Moses made. Until then, the Israelites were burning incense into it. He called the Shantan in chapter 7. Hezekiah relied on the Lord, the God of Israel. Not one of the kings of Judah was like him, either before him or after him. He remained faithful to the Lord. He did not turn from following him, but kept the commands to the Lord he commanded Moses. The Lord was with him, and wherever he went, he prospered. He rebelled against God, the king of Assyria, and did not serve him. Against the king of Assyria and did not serve him. My bad.
So Hezekiah delivered them from the Assyrians, right?
Hmm.
Okay. And there was no king like Hezekiah before or after Hezekiah, right?
Okay, no.
Let me get one more. Go to hold on. It's one specific and it's very specific. Go to 2 Chronicles 32, verse 23. And this was after the defeat of the Assyrians.
Many were bringing an offering to the Lord, Jerusalem, and valuable gifts to the king Hezekiah of Judah. And he was
Exalted
exalted in the eyes of all nations after that.
and exalted after all the nations after that. And there was no king like Hezekiah before or after him. And he was the one that delivered them from the Assyrians. Now let me show you where the peace came. Go to Isaiah 36. Hold on. Let me be specific. Go to the Second Chronicles. I know you're in 2 Chronicles 32. You still in 2 Chronicles?
Yep.
Go to 32:22.
32:20.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it says, so the Lord saved Hezekiah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem from the power of King, don't know how to pronounce that, Senator, I don't know, of Assyria, and from the power of all others. He gave them rest on every side.
Mm-hmm. Now go to Isaiah 39 and read verse 8.
Mm, verse 8. Okay. Let's see that. Then Ezekiel said to Isaiah, "The word of the Lord that you have spoken is good, for he taught there will be peace and security during my lifetime."
There we go. Micah 5:2 is talking about King Hezekiah, not Jesus. But a lot of people take only verse 2, right? Like I be saying, and they go by what it sounds like rather than the context. But even Micah 1:1 lets you know the time period that he's talking about, which is during the time period of Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah. So everything within Micah would have to be in reference to the time period of one of those kings. So context is way more valuable than what things sound like because of what you heard and was taught from the back of the book first. Same thing with Psalms 22. Same thing with what we went to before Micah.
Okay, but where was Hezekiah born though?
Uh,
You had fun working with me.
But
You had fun. That was fun.
where was he
I want
born
to
though?
say about the niggas that the fuck. I want to say about the nigga that's asking for my number.
what?
Where was Hezekiah born in?
Let's see. I don't even think it doesn't even specifically say where Hezekiah was born at in the Bible.
Let's see.
It doesn't really say.
Well, the biblical king Hezekiah was born in Jerusalem in Israel 7 to 41 and before Christ. And what does it say here? It says Micaiah 5:2. It says the ruler comes from Bethlehem. So you sure it was Hezekiah?
Yes, because you're reading commentary from obviously a biased, you know, person that probably believes in Christianity, but within the scriptures, it says that this person is going to be from Bethlehem, Ephrata, right? So when you read, let's go to Micah 5:2. Let's just read it again, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Why would it say? Why would it say Bethlehem Ephrata, right? Since you're saying that this Bethlehem Ephrata is a place, why would it say that this? Why would it say Bethlehem Ephrata? Though
No,
you
I
are
never said it was a place. I said yes, I said that Bethlehem is a place, but Bethlehem is not. It's a claim.
okay, so why would you ask me? Am I sure if it's about
But
Hezekiah?
but because Hezekiah wasn't born in Bethlehem, it said the leader would come from Bethlehem.
But that's what I'm saying. Does it say
Hez-
this person is going to be born in Bethlehem?
no, it said he will come from Bethlehem.
It says he would come from what? Bethlehem Ephrata, not Bethlehem. It doesn't say this person. It says read it directly. What it says directly.
Oh, I gotta go back. I'm still on that video. Clarify. Was it 5:2?
Yep.
Yep. Bethlehem Ephrathah, you are small amongst the clans of Judah. One of you will come to be the ruler over Israel for me.
Out of what? Bethlehem Ephrata, right?
Yes.
All right. So is
But
it saying that this person is going to be born in Bethlehem?
let me make sure I'm not. Let me make that up. Just in case I won't be wrong. Bethlehem. I believe that's a clan, but just in case I don't want to. Yes, Bethlehem Ephrathah is a place.
Okay. I mean, that's your.
And in Hebrew language, Bethlehem is the house of bread.
Okay, so
And the
let's
name. Okay, go ahead.
okay, let's just say it's a place, right? It
Yeah.
says, "And you, Bethlehem Ephrathah, though you are small amongst the clans of Judah." So it's saying that Bethlehem Ephrathah, the place, is small amongst the clans of Judah. What does that mean?
Uh,
How could the place be small amongst the clans of Judah? That does that mean like there was too many clans that they couldn't fit in Bethlehem, or because it's saying though you, Bethlehem Ephratah, are small amongst the clans of Judah. What I see is that this clan is smaller than the other clans that come from Judah. But if it's not the clan and it's a place, what I would get from that is saying that the place is small amongst the clans of Judah, kind of giving the understanding that I guess the place wasn't big enough for the clans of Judah. If this is a place, that wouldn't kind of make sense to me.
I mean, Bethlehem wasn't a major city. You
Okay,
think about it.
so from your understanding, that's saying that the place was small amongst the clans of Judah.
It was considered small, and Judah's like, and Judah's like divisions. Yes, it's considered small.
Okay, so let's just say it was a place, and this is
It is
talking
a
about.
place.
So let's just say it's not talking about Hezekiah. Who is this talking about? Because this person that's coming from the place, according to you,
Mhm.
is supposed to deliver them from the Assyrians, and it's supposed to be peace within Israel during the days of those Assyrians trying to invade them. So when did that happen during the time of Jesus? Even though Micah 1:1 tells you that he's concerning Jerusalem and Samaria during the time of these specific kings. If we're saying that this is Jesus, this would be outside of the time of those specific kings.
Uh, well, then who was it talking about? If that's the Old Testament, what is saying?
Hezekiah, brother. That's what I'm saying. If it's not talking about Hezekiah and it's not talking about Jesus, I guess it's a person that has never done this, or either this is not fulfilled and the Assyrians are going to invade Israel again in the future. Or I guess when Jesus come back, because if you're saying Jesus comes back, right, I guess the Assyrians are going to invade the land again.
I would say that is Hezekiah.
Huh?
I would say that is Hezekiah.
It could only be him unless you're going to say that when Jesus come back, the Syrians are going to come back as well, and they're going to invade the land. And Jesus is going to deliver Israel from the Assyrians. We're going to get back into the land. Israel is going to be brought, because obviously Israel is not in the land now, because the end time prophecy is Israelites going back to the land, right? So when we get back to the land, if this isn't Hezekiah and this is Jesus, that means when we get back into the land, the Assyrians are going to invade them again. So I don't see how it can be Jesus.
Okay, so when you think so, with the ruler or shepherd, who you think is talking about ruler or shepherd?
The who?
When it said, hold on, let me find it real quick. I think I think it's this one right here. That's what it be. Oh, wait.
Aleph Toph. I mean, what you're saying, it doesn't say that at all. Like what you're saying, it literally says that Hezekiah did. Aleph Toph.
Yeah.
It says nothing about nobody helping anybody. It says that, you know, Hezekiah prayed and that delivered them.
Well, then, so the Old Testament talks about there being a new covenant. What is the new covenant in your eyes?
Huh?
So the Old Testament talks about a new covenant. So what is the new? Let's go back to Jeremiah.
Mm-hmm.
Talks about a new covenant. What is the new covenant?
that he's going to put the law in our inward parts and in our hearts, and we're not going to teach anymore because we're all going to know the Most High. That's the new covenant. Like how we're on the panel now talking about the scriptures and how there's a church on every corner and they're teaching know the Lord and according to you know the Messiah. There's churches all over the world. There's thousands of different doctrines within the New Testament. We're not going to have that anymore because we're going to be in a new covenant and the Spirit of the Lord is going to be upon everybody. That's the new covenant.
Okay, what else then?
That's it. I'm not going to add anything else to it. That's what it says. I'm only going to tell you what it say the covenant is. It says, and this shall be the covenant. And then literally it tells you what it's going to be. So I'm only saying what it is right there. If a new covenant is saying that the new covenant is something other than what it prophesied to be, then that would be an addition. Because Jeremiah is speaking, thus said the Lord right here. In Jeremiah. I think the best thing to do is, and I'm not telling you to stop believing in Jesus, right? But when it comes to the understanding of the scriptures, it is best if you just read from the beginning and remove your pre-notion doctrine understanding, because that's really a stumbling block to understanding the beginning. Learning the back of the book is really a stumbling block to coming back to the beginning and you seeing things that sound like something that you've been taught,
I
which
mean,
is the generational curse of the Bible, right?
generally that's still illogical saying that this New Testament that is agreed. Like seriously, why would God allow that? Maybe God
To
allowed the chosen
to
people to be slaves though.
to see if we love them, to see if we love Him. A lot of
No, we
people,
love him.
a lot of people just believe the New Testament and haven't read the Bible at all. Is that showing that you love the Most High?
No, it's not showing.
Exactly. So it was to see if we love Him. Why would God allow any other false doctrines? To see if we love Him. To see
No,
if
it's
we
actually
actually
free will.
well, yeah, we do have free will, right? That's how we actually understands if we love Him or not, because we got the free will to go and study His word and see what He requires, right? And then look at these other false doctrines and see if we're going to fall into it or not. But if you're taught a doctrine and you're not putting that doctrine to the test or validating or challenging that doctrine by what God said originally, then that's not showing that you love Him. Showing that you love Him is going back to His original first words through His original first prophets and then critiquing and analyzing anything after that. So it's a lot of why would God do this? Why would God do that? Why would God let there be a lot of different doctrines of Christianity? Why would God let there be other religions? I can use that for anything.
Well, for us, it's simply through faith. Is that correct?
Yes, but you have to have knowledge of what your faith concerns.
Imagine what?
Knowledge of what your faith concerns, not just believing what somebody is telling you. You have to have knowledge and contextual understanding of what your faith is.
So then that just goes back to the most times, right? You just Moses was some crazy dude if he hears a Moses was believed to saw a man in a bush. That was God.
You say Moses what?
Moses saw God in a bush. Is that correct?
I'm not gonna say he saw God in the bush. No.
Well, like it was like a light, as it's described.
Okay.
And if Moses go tell somebody, right, that an invisible man is talking to me, right, and they believe him, like, what does that
I
sound
mean,
like?
no. I mean, they didn't believe Moses right off rip. Moses, it had to be a prophecy that Moses gave to the people for them to understand. Okay, this is the person that we're going to follow now. I believe that this person is of this God that he's talking about because he's prophesying something that can only come by a supernatural power, which would be that God. And then they believed in Moses. It wasn't just, oh, I'm of God, you guys follow me. No.
So that's the
Moses
same
gave
logic.
Moses gave the prophecy of God, right?
Uh,
And people decided to do what was required in regards to that prophecy, and they saw that prophecy come to pass, the plagues and all of that. And when that happened, they was like, okay, well, I'm finna follow this man. This person is of this God that he's talking about. So it wasn't just the, oh, I'm gonna believe you just because you're saying this. It was never that. Some people did have faith though because they wanted to get out of that situation, but the faith was really, proven when God did what he did during the time of Moses. So it wasn't really just off the sake of what Moses said. It was what God
okay.
revealed.
So then that
You're trying to
proves my
find a
point. Hold on.
loophole, bro.
No, no, that proves
You're
my
trying to
point.
find a loophole,
People
bro.
believe Moses because of what he did, right? And Jesus did things to prove that he was God.
No, it's not what Moses did. It's what the Most High God did based on what Moses said that he would do.
And Jesus proved himself in John. He proved himself by doing what? What did he do? Matter of fact, we're gonna let me see what it
I'm
said.
saying, what did Jesus do to prove that he's God?
Miracles.
Okay,
People came to Jesus
so
and challenged him.
that's why I asked you earlier. So just because he did miracles, that made him God?
Well, that made him prove that people think it was God and people still doubted him. Just like how that's basic. That's what happened to Moses.
Okay, so where did God set these miracles to be a prerequisite to understand that he was God?
Say that again.
Where did God give a prerequisite of miracles being the understanding that he was God? Where did God ever say, okay, somebody's going to be doing, not verbatimly saying that, but in any form or fashion, where did he say that somebody's coming to do or going to do miracles and you should believe this person because he's God?
We could tie that same logic to Moses, bro. We really can.
We can't, because Moses actually told us that God was going to do something and God actually did it. Jesus didn't say that, hey,
And Jesus said he was going to come again. And guess what? He came again 3 days later. Boom. Simple.
but God never said that somebody's going to
Jesus is
die.
God. Jesus is God, though.
But I'm saying, where do you get that understanding?
You understand that God is going to do what again?
Huh?
Get an understanding of what?
That Jesus is God.
That Jesus is God. It says right here in John 10.
So John said that he's God.
No, in John, the book of John, it says, let's see, the Lord, honor the Father. Always
That's what
in
I'm
John.
saying. Like, where is this? All that's what I'm saying. All of this is new stuff. So where's the prophecy? Where's the prerequisite? Like, where's these things being a requirement to understand that he's God? That's the only way that we will
So
understand
you
that he's
want
God.
evidence that Jesus said that he's God.
No, what I'm saying is you're saying that he's proving that he's God by doing miracles and saying that he's gonna
And said he
die.
was. No, he wasn't killed because he was doing miracles. He was killed because what he done, like what he said.
Okay, so how does that prove he's God?
Because
Because but before he came,
Jesus said that he was God.
I'm saying how do we know that's true?
How do we know Moses had a revelation of God? Because dudes tie the same logic
Because
to
he
Moses.
gave the prophecy and then the prophecy became true.
Okay, and Jesus
Jesus
gave,
didn't. What you're saying is Jesus just said something.
and he also gave a prophecy too.
Okay, what prophecy did he give?
He's gonna come back 3 days later. Simple.
Okay, and how does that prove that he's God? Because he gave prophecy.
You think some regular person gonna come back 3 days later from the dead?
What
You
I'm
think someone's
saying,
gonna?
what
Yeah,
I'm
you think
saying
some?
is, if God is not validating something, that doesn't make that true. If God is not validating it,
Is
he
God not
even tells
validated?
you you shouldn't believe anybody that just comes and does signs and wonders. That's Deuteronomy 13. Just because somebody does signs and wonders doesn't make them God. If I'm
I
not
think I think I
validate
think
if I'm not validating those signs and wonders, you don't have to believe that person.
I think that's an over exaggeration of what you just used of signs and wonders. Signs and wonders can easily be someone giving a whole bunch of charity, do some hope like charity to people, right? If someone's donating a massive amount of money to the
But what
widows,
you're saying,
that could be wonders. Okay.
But what you're saying Jesus did was a sign to show that he was God, right? The miracles that he did was a sign, right? That's what you're telling me,
Well,
right?
in
So
John it said, okay, go ahead, go ahead.
no, that's what I'm saying. I'm only using what you're saying. So I'm asking you, how do you know he's God? You said because he said that he's
He
going to do
said,
this,
no,
right?
Jesus said that
So
he's God too.
what did he say he's God?
I'll show you. John 8:58, John 10:30, and what else? Let me see.
Oh, that's a good point, Tammy. Then the Pharaoh did some type of miracle too, didn't it? Had magical powers too, right? Does that
John
make
8 to
that
58.
does that make the Pharaoh God?
Pharaohs?
Yeah.
No, that doesn't make him God.
So just that's my point. Just because Jesus said that I'm gonna die on the third day and raise, and he did it, that doesn't make him God. Where did God ever validate that?
Okay,
Because
so
that would be
what
something
powers you
new.
talking about though?
Let's go to it.
You talking about like the ones in Exodus? Exodus, I think
Yes.
7.
Yeah.
Exodus 7, okay. 20:30. See, I made you look like. Okay, the Lord answered Moses, see, I've made you like God. I have made you like God to Pharaoh. And Aaron, your brother, will be your prophet. You must say whether if I command you, then Aaron, your brother, must declare it to the Pharaoh so that he will let the Israelites go by his. So what magic is going on? Right, I keep reading. I see nobody's coming from the dead. Nobody's right. Nobody is coming from the dead here. I don't see no magic.
Oh, you're just talking about somebody coming from the dead. Okay. So again, where is the
No, no,
prerequisite?
I see generally. I don't see no magic in Exodus 7. Moses was 80 years old. Aaron was 83. When they spoke to the Pharaoh, the Lord said,
Hold
Moses and
on.
Aaron, when the Pharaoh tells you perform a miracle, tell
Go to
Aaron.
Exodus 7:12.
Exodus 7:12. Okay, I was close. Each one threw down his staff, and it became a serpent. But Aaron's staff swallowed their staffs. However, Pharaoh's heart was hard, and he did not listen to them as the Lord had said.
So what happened when Pharaoh? What Pharaoh did?
Um, so however, Pharaoh's heart was hard, and he did not listen to them. Or you
Hold
talking about the
on.
staff becoming the serpent?
Yes.
So Moses and Aaron went into the Pharaoh. So it's maybe let's go back a little bit. So it says right here, and then Egypt. So okay, but the pharaohs called the wise men and the sorcerers, magicians of Egypt, and they also did the same thing
Not well,
by
not Pharaoh, but his magicians. My bad.
his magicians. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, there you go, man.
Turned the
His magicians.
staffs into serpents. We're not going to say that those people are God because they did some type of, supernatural thing.
But did they ever claim to be God though, like
Did they
Jesus
who?
did? Did they claim to be God like Jesus did?
No. Okay. So just because if these people who turned these magicians turned the serpent, turned the staffs to
Well,
serpent, and
and
they
also,
said that.
also, it's also understand that Egyptians didn't actually they the Pharaoh was known to be God and their religion, whatever they got.
What I'm saying,
And
what if
they
the
and they worship things that isn't God. They're
okay?
worshipers.
I'm saying, what if the magician said that they were God, right? After doing that, would that make them God?
No, that wouldn't make them God. But
So, so
given
when,
historical
so,
context, the Pharaoh was the God in
okay,
Egypt. In
okay,
Egypt,
okay,
in historical context,
okay.
the
So,
Pharaoh was the God.
so we don't need validation from God to understand if somebody's coming and saying they're God by something they did. Pretty much is what you're saying. We don't need God to validate that. Somebody can come and do some type of sorcery or magic or supernatural thing, and they can claim to be God, and you just believe it, even if God never said anything about that beforehand.
Good
All I'm
question.
saying is all I'm saying is it has to be validated.
Have to be validated.
Right. Just because somebody comes and raises from the dead, or there's a narrative of story of somebody coming from the dead, for me to understand that, or understand that this person is God because of that, right? That is something new that God told us, hey, I'm going to let you know beforehand. And it makes sense that he's telling us, hey, the things that he has planned, right? The things that he's going to bring forth, he's going to let us know beforehand. That makes a lot of sense, so we can actually understand, and nobody can come and just tell us any old bullshit. We're going to know if it's bullshit because God is going to tell us, or if he doesn't tell us, I'm going to look at it as if it's bullshit because he tells us that he's going to let us know things before they spring forth. That makes a lot of sense. So we won't be confused about anything.
I mean,
Right.
there's
So if
multiple
he
things.
doesn't, if he doesn't tell us before, so I just think it makes a lot of sense, right? Yeah, like
There's multiple things that God doesn't tell people. You know, right?
he does in regards to a divine sense. He does.
Okay, but if you go to Genesis 4, that God warned Cain about sin, but he did not predict that Cain would murder Abel. Is that correct? So God did not tell Abel Cain was going to eventually kill Abel.
That wasn't a plan of God. That was something that Abel did on his own. Cain did on his own. That wasn't a plan of God. We have free will. God deals with the actions after our free will. He deals with the things we do after our free will decisions. So it wasn't a prophecy of Cain doing it. So he didn't have to tell Abel.
Hmm.
When it comes to divine things, right, or things to come from a supernatural sense, God lets us know beforehand. That's why you have prophecies, right?
So
So
he
if
let
somebody is coming, and saying, hey, what I just did is of God, or I'm somebody of God by way of what I just did. Okay, you're claiming that. That's the claim. Now let me go back and see if God ever spoke of this. If God never spoke of that, brother, you cap. It's just that simple. If I hold God to be true, if God tell you that he gonna tell you everything before it springs forth from a divine sense within prophecy, right? You hold that to be true, right?
God tells me that something prophet like do prophecy is going to happen. Yes, I believe it's true.
Right. So no, yeah. No, I'm saying if God tells you that before things spring forth, I tell you of them, right? Obviously, these are divine things because God is the divine being that makes things happen by way of a divine way, right?
Yeah.
Through the power of him.
Mhm.
So if we then have a new narrative of divine things to come by a quote unquote divine person, it should be told beforehand because the New Testament are just these claims, just the claims. Because remember, the New Testament is eyewitness accounts, which are claims of things that happen. So these,
Old Testament had some. Well, technically, will be eyewitness accounts too, right?
but that's
Nobody would believe Moses if no one had eyewitness to those prophecies being fulfilled. Correct?
not because no, because Moses was the one who wrote these things. Moses was the person who wrote the
But no one
things
would
down.
believe him if it never happened. No,
Right.
nobody would believe Moses if people never saw what became true. Correct?
Right. The people that was there. Correct.
So eyewitnesses do matter.
Right. But eyewitnesses could lie.
So then people could lie about Moses.
Yeah. But Moses wrote his own writings.
Okay,
the New Testament, these people didn't write their own writings. Mark, Matthew, the Gospels weren't written by Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Who the fuck name was Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John during that time? These were names just attributed to those books after the books was written.
translator names. They all have different Hebrew names, by the way.
Yes, but these were according to Matthew, according to John.
They're just white people names, if I'll be honest with you, given in the Bible.
Right, right. So who were these people? That's why the Gospels are anonymous, right? And these are Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. The names that they gave to those people, whatever they named, their
They
original.
had names in Hebrew, original names in Hebrew. It's just translated as white
Okay,
people
okay,
names.
that's what I'm saying. Whoever they were, originally those people, right? They didn't write their own books. It was other people writing according to Matthew, according to John. So it was pretty much a he say, she say. Well, I heard that Matthew said and did this. I heard that John said this and saw Jesus do this.
Well, no, that's not true. Matthew wrote Matthew. Mark wrote Matthew.
Okay, so
Well, Matthew, no, Mark.
where in Matthew do you see I, my, and me in any of those books?
Any of those books. Let's see. Well, John. Well, the first one we're gonna go. John. It says that he is a testimony of the light. You said that one.
Yep. So why would it say that he is the testimony?
He said he wrote it. He said he wrote John. That's what
Who
he
said that?
He wrote.
Who said that?
John said that he wrote John.
What? Read the verse.
Okay, let me find John. John 1. What's this? Let's go down. Okay. Hold on. Just John. Hold on. This is already the third person. It said this is the one I said is coming. Oh, you gotta wait so.
There's nothing indicating that Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John wrote their own writings. Just like the prophets, they say I, my, and me. We understand that the prophets wrote their books. We also understand that certain scribes wrote their books because we have writing that scribes wrote certain parts of other books. It's actually wrote in it. But in the Gospels, we don't see that. Because whoever the writer is, they're writing according to Matthew, according to what John said, according to what Luke said, whatever their real name was. They're really anonymous. We don't know who wrote these things. The New Testament is very, very faulty. But you would only understand that if you kind of, like I say, read the beginning, like if you pick up the Bible and read it like you read any other book from front to back.
The gospel is not ordained. Okay, I'll give you that one.
It's very faulty, brother. I'm not gonna tell you nothing that you can't go research on your own. Because I had to do all this stuff and research myself. I had to go through a deep loophole myself.
So just because John did not write John, it makes it incredible.
No, that's just part of it being incredible outside of what's in it. That's kind of just like some sprinkling on top of the ice cream. It's not the cherry on top, but that's just something else that I don't look at as a coincidence.
Okay, so then when Jesus said his own words, right? I mean, Jesus ain't saying it then in John.
Nah, I mean, he can say his own words, but
I feel like John was written in a different perspective. Like John was written in a different perspective, though, because it says in John 30, it said, Jesus said, "Truly, I tell you, unless someone is born again, he cannot see the kingdom of God."
So them writing, the person whoever wrote them or whoever saying that what they're saying, that's not my problem. It's more so of what's said, right?
It's just written in different point of views, though.
What I'm saying, that's not the problem, right? That's not my contention right now, right? What I'm saying is, right, it's not more so about, oh, we don't know who wrote it, right? It's more so about what's in it. Us not knowing who wrote it is, like I say, kind of like sprinkling. Like when people say that's the cherry on top, right? That's not really the big concern. It's part of it, right? But it's more so what's written in it. These new things that are not validated, that people just hold to be true without even understanding what it's attached to first. Like a lot of people.
Okay, but now logic then. Who understand the word of? Who understand Genesis 1 then? Who wrote Genesis 1?
Oh, I mean, it's kind of debatable. You know, some people say
Adam and Eve is long dead. Adam and Eve is long dead. They're long dead.
Yeah, I believe God gave Moses the understanding to write Genesis.
To write Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I
so
think I believe that God gave
but
Moses
hold on,
the,
but
the
by your
spirit
logic, did
wisdom.
God say that? Did God say that? Did
No,
God say he gave Moses what Adam and Eve did? Did
no,
God say that?
no.
So it's not true. And in your logic is not true.
Okay,
Because God didn't say it.
that's fine. But at the end of the day, this would be the foundation that we believe in, right?
So yeah. So that means in Genesis 2, no 3 and 4, 5. We going into I see Moses' name 6, 7. Like Noah's Ark 8, 9, 10. So all these really ain't true because all these is not even in all these is in a whole different point of perspective. Third and second, not even first. I don't see Adam broke Genesis 1.
I never said that. I said I believe he did. Like I say, to me, right, it doesn't matter, right, who wrote this if we're
Oh,
me
so
and
so so
you.
so, so I mean, if it doesn't matter who wrote Genesis, like you're saying, that means it doesn't matter who wrote John, right?
No, no, that's
Nobody
here,
knows who
here.
wrote. Nobody know who wrote Genesis 1, correct?
Okay.
Nobody knows. Just like nobody knew who wrote John. I'll give you that. Nobody knows who wrote John. I'll give you that. But nobody knows who wrote Genesis 1 through 9.
Again, you keep trying to make. I'm not saying
I'm
I
going
don't
based on your
believe.
logic.
Listen, I'm not.
Okay.
Again, I've said it 3 times. I'm
Okay.
not saying I don't believe John because we don't know who wrote it. I'm not saying that.
You said it was part of making incredible. That's
I'm
what you
saying
said.
it's just part of it, besides of what's in it,
Okay.
right?
So then
So
how we know what Noah's Ark is credible then?
we don't.
Because we don't.
It's a foundation of a belief, right? It's the beginning and foundation of a belief.
So how
So
come you
even
can't apply that?
listen what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
the
Yeah. Yeah.
beginning. It's the beginning and foundation of a belief.
Yeah.
So even if it's false, right? Even
Yeah.
if it's false, the New Testament is attached to it. So no matter what, even if it's false, the New Testament must align with it, even if it's false, because the New Testament is supposed to be the continuation. So even if the Old Testament is a lie, the New Testament should align with it. So that's why I said it really doesn't matter who wrote it if we really don't know, because it's the foundation of the belief. So even if it's a lie and we don't know, John, Matthew, Mark, Luke, even though we don't know who wrote that, it still has to align with it. That's why I'm saying it. I'm not telling you I don't believe it because we don't know who wrote it. It's more so what's in it,
So technically,
right?
the New Testament will be a new belief, right?
Pretty much, yes. Pretty
So
much, yeah.
so we could apply the same standards that you're applying to the Old Testament to the New Testament. Is that correct?
I mean, you can do that if that's how
So
you
so
want to
so
look
so
at it.
so so
But
then how come you
but
don't do
but
that?
that's
Because
but again, you're making an assumption of what I
okay,
keep telling you. I'm not saying I don't believe in John because
okay.
I don't know who wrote it. But you keep making that my point, and I'm telling you that's not my point. But you're trying to tie that point
No,
to
no,
the
I'm
Old
not. No,
Testament.
I'm just saying because I'm going based on your logic. No one
But
knows who
my
wrote
but I
Genesis.
keep telling you my logic is not
Okay,
that I don't believe in John because I don't know who wrote it.
yeah.
I keep telling you that's not what I'm saying. I'm
So
saying the foundation of my belief is the Old Testament. The New
you only
Testament,
believe in the Old Testament,
I
though.
only believe in the Tanakh. Yes. What I'm saying is the Tanakh, based on what it says, is why I don't believe in it. The fact that we don't know who wrote the Gospels
We don't know who
is
wrote Genesis.
is just kind of like the cherry on top with the addition of what's said in it. So let's just say, okay, let's just say I never said anything about we don't know who wrote it, right?
Yep.
And just go with what's said in it.
Okay.
That's my whole point.
So just go what it says. Is that what you said?
You know what I'm saying? I don't believe the gospels based on what's said in the gospels.
So do you believe what happened in Genesis?
Yes.
Okay, but you said it was a foundation, correct?
It's the foundation
And
of a belief. Yes. And my
foundation
and
of
my
belief.
and I don't really so much care or that's not a big thing to me about Noah's Ark, right? That's not, me as a mere human being, that's not something that I should really be trying to fathom or really just, oh, is that really true about the ark? No, because when it comes to me as a mere human being, according to the Tanakh, my only thing that I should be understanding is the laws and commandments and follow them. Not so much of trying to really see if the Noah's Ark is true or not. That's why I say, so even if it's false, no matter what, the New Testament, the AKA continuation, has to align with it in regards to the narrative, not Noah's Ark, things that we really can't fathom,
But
the
something has to build up.
flood, things like
Something has
that.
to build up to the truth. Is that correct?
What?
Something has to be building up to the truth. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So if Genesis was just a